Okay, Roy, it's good to be here at Atrinets headquarters in Tel Aviv. So can you just tell us about Atrinets' current focus?
So first of all, we're very thrilled to have you here. Atrinet is a company that's focused on a network management system and orchestration of the networks. We have a tremendous product called NetACE, which we're very proud of. This product goal is to be a completely vendor-agnostic network management system, which will also allow service providers to make the transformation between the legacy and existing networks to the new and exciting future virtualization world, transforming some segments of the services from purely physical to virtualized.
Okay, so that sounds like a pretty unique approach. Can you just explain the company's strategy around that?
So our strategy is, let's say, twofold. First of all, we have developed our platform in a way that gives the strength to the service provider. We don't want them to come to us each time they want to add a new device type to be managed by our platform, or whenever they want to add new service models or tweak some existing service models. We've been at this round for many years ago, and we actually didn't like it. It felt like extorting them. They would come to us, ask us, please do this, we've bought a new device type, so now we need to incorporate it into the network management system. It would take months, it would cost them a lot, it would delay everything they were planning. They would have a service that did specific things, and they would want to add just small functionality, changing a polisher to a shaper. They would come to us, we would need to code and test everything. We said stop to this, we are giving the strength to them. The system is completely vendor agnostic. The service providers can model new device types on their own using pure graphical tools. They don't have to code or write any Python scripts or some elaborate functionality like this. The modeling of the services is also done in a graphical models editor that can be done almost by anyone that has network knowledge. So what we've actually done is taking the DevOps idea and transforming it into something that we call NetOps. So the network engineers using our platform don't have to be programming experts or scripters. They can just go to the graphical modeling editor, do the changes they need, and use the system to provision services, to introduce new device types in a matter of minutes to the network. That's one thing. The other thing that we're concentrated on is allowing the service providers transforming their current networks, which are mainly physical, to start integrating new virtual functions inside, taking their existing services and replacing the chunks of the physical network that have been already tested and proven to work well enough in a virtualized board, and do the transformation of the existing services. That's the focus.
So maybe in a little more detail, how is this going to meet the specific needs of the service providers as they shift towards a mix of legacy and next-gen virtualized technology?
Okay, so first of all, what you need is one centralized view and centralized system which will allow you to see all of your network, the physical devices, all of them, no matter from which vendor they come, and the virtual network functions. And here it's the same idea, no matter which vendor supplied the virtual network function. You need to have one holistic view of the entire network and one system that will allow you to configure true end-to-end services. So when usually today someone is speaking about service chaining, it's just in the scope of the virtual network functions chained together. When we say true end-to-end service chaining, it means configuring an end-to-end service starting at the customer, ending at the customer, going over physical devices, maybe some DCI interconnects, and then virtual network functions might be distributed, might not. You need to have one holistic view for all of this. In addition, you must take existing services that are already configured on your network for many years and start transforming them. For example, virtual CPE, virtual firewalls. You might want to change existing configuration configured on physical devices and replace them with the virtual firewalls. And you want to do it step by step. First, discover existing services, then tweak them, change one functionality without ripping the service from the network, disconnecting the customers for days. You want to keep everything working and then make the changes one by one at a low risk. And this is what we allow.
So this kind of approach demands a knowledge and understanding of legacy and next-gen virtualized. How is that enabled?
So first of all, Atrinets as a company, we have many years of experience and a lot of very talented people that have been working specifically in the area of network management system. These are not just guys who came from the device side, but guys that have been working managing networks for many years. And we bring the expertise and also the unique understanding of the end users of the system, the network engineers working at the service providers, what they would like from such a product. So first of all, in our DNA is a completely graphical point and click system. You don't have to go at any point to some underlying CLI or scripting. We want everything to be very easy to do. I'm a software engineer, but still when I'm using something, I want it to be easy, like my iPhone or anything else. That's one thing that we have in our DNA, which is very important in terms of usability. In addition, if you look around at how this network management system have evolved during time, at the beginning, they were just provisioning systems. So just take a chunk of configuration and sending it to the network. This really is not enough. It's actually very easy to do. What's more important is managing the life cycle of the service. So you would want to modify it, to end endpoints, to change bandwidth requirements, to change policers to shapers, add some functionality to the services. You would want to delete services since you're maybe putting on new types of services into the network. You will need complete visibility of the resources that are taken by the services so other configuration don't overlap with them. And also in last years, we have known this for many years before, but in last years I think people have become to understand that a part of the service configuration is the assurance, making sure that the service is constantly up, traffic is flowing, and also that no one by mistake went to the device and maybe messed around with the configuration while trying to debug something, or maybe another system managing the network did something wrong. So you want to constantly check two things: the structural integrity of the service and the operational quality of the service. And using our platform, when you're doing the modeling of the service, it is mandatory for you actually to also say how this service will be checked for structural and operational integrity.
So can you explain a bit about hybrid network and service orchestration and why that's important?
Yes, so I think after maybe a few years of over-optimism, people are now finally understanding that it's not like we're going just to tear down the entire network already existing and change everything everywhere with just x86s with software running on them. The legacy network is going to keep there, and we're going to keep using it for many years to come. And I think now service providers are coming to understand that in addition to their already siloed management capabilities of today, where they have to manage their segments in completely network management systems, they're also starting to fear, and actually with a good reason, that the virtual world, the virtual network functions are going to be managed in another separate system. And this is going to be a real chaos, really hard to handle. So what we want to provide the service providers with NetACE is the ability to just holistically manage the network. We call it the hybrid network management because hybrid is the mix between the physical and the virtual worlds, to have an end-to-end visuality and configuration capabilities to both the physical network functions and the virtual network functions. You keep hearing about VNFs, but there is something called PNFs. These are the physical devices. And you want to have one entity that's seeing all of these and configuring all of these entities together.
So there's a lot of talk in the industry about DevOps, but here at Atrinet you talk about NetOps. Can you explain the difference and why NetOps is important?
So DevOps is a term taken from, I think, more R&D world. This is sort of a mix between the development world and the old IT world. The people who are DevOps are part-time developers, programmers actually, and some script experts. And today, people in the networking world are trying to look for the equivalent of this. And what we are doing is actually taking this sort of function and calling it NetOps, but we think it's going to be completely different. The people, the network engineers are different. They're not programmers, they're not scripters, they're guys who are used to working with devices and configuring them. And they want to have the ability to do things easily. So in our NetOps approach, we give these guys, the network engineers, the tools to make their work very easily without having to program anything, very quickly to make changes like they're used to when they're working with the devices. They're making configuration changes very easily. So we're giving them the tool to make changes to devices and to service model and then apply them to the network in a very rapid way.
So what's the future for Atrinet and for the NetACE product?
So our future is actually aligned with the networking world future. Service providers today are more and more understanding of their future needs. After the big hype about VNFs and NFV and SDN are going down a little bit, people are starting to really understand the real requirements and how the network are going to really look, which will be a mix between the physical and the virtual world. And NetACE and Atrinet are going to provide a platform for the service provider to meet their future needs, to make the transformation to their networks, and will allow them to really make the revenue out of these new and trending worlds.
Excellent. Roy, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Ray. It's been a pleasure.